If you are worried about AI stealing your job, you're looking at the wrong side of the equation. Because AI is exactly what's making some of the best one-person businesses possible in 2026. I've spent the last few years building a one-person business alongside a full-time job, and what I found is that the business that works isn't the one that makes the most money. So in this video, I'm gonna score 5 one-person businesses on demand, income potential, how quickly you can get your first customer, and how difficult they are to market. And just to be clear, I'm not talking about businesses that need a lot of money to get going. These are businesses that you can realistically start from home this weekend on top of a full-time job. The first one-person business is a service business. This means doing something for someone else in exchange for money. Usually, it's something you're already good at. You're providing it directly to people or businesses that don't have the time or skills to do it themselves. If you have a job, you could probably repackage your skills into a service and sell it directly to clients without an employer in between. For instance, I used to work at a Big Four firm as a tax lawyer specializing in entrepreneurs, meaning the businesses and the people behind them. If I wanted to, I could keep doing that without the firm as a middleman. About 70% of all businesses are service-based because they're easy to start and low risk. If you're already good at what you sell, you can get your first client right away. To get started, you need to have conversations with people who need your skills. Your income rises with your reputation, and you can use AI to get more done and charge for the results instead of the hours you spent. The downside of easy to start is that everyone is doing it, so you need to differentiate. But the bigger catch is that just like with a job, you're selling your time. There is a ceiling to what one person can do, and the only way past it is getting better with AI or hiring, which means managing people, and then it's not really a one-person business anymore. So most service businesses average 4 to 10k USD a month, no matter how good they get. The structure is also vulnerable. To get the work, you have to chase the work, either by pitching one-to-one for quick cash or doing content marketing for the long game. Most people end up doing both, which makes them very busy. So I would give a service business a 3 out of 5 because it's easy to start, low friction, low cost, and you can use the skills you get to do bigger things down the line. But the model itself has an upper limit, and it's easy to rebuild the rat race you're trying to get out of. The second one-person business is a productized service, and this is essentially a service business in a streamlined format. Instead of selling your time on a project basis, you turn what you do into a fixed offer with a set scope and price. It's easier to sell because a clear offer is an easier yes than a custom service. And because it's standardized, it's AI friendly and you can build the system once and reuse it forever, so the ceiling is higher. An established operator in a good niche can reach around 10 to 25k USD a month. The catch is that it's slower to start because you need to know what people want before you invest time into standardizing an offer. If we look at my old job as a tax lawyer, income tax returns were one of our standardized offers. They kept recurring every year, and it was usually an entry point to or a finalizing step of bigger projects. When it comes to marketing a productized service, the main difference from a one-off service is that a predefined offer is easier to put in front of people and there is less room to negotiate price. But to define the right offer in the first place, you still have to do what you would do for any service, which is have conversations and find out where demand is. So I would give a productized service a 4 out of 5. It's higher and steadier than a one-off service, and it scales beyond your hours, but you have to earn your way into it. Which is exactly why a lot of people, including myself, began with one-off services and upgrade to this once they see recurring demand. And if you are thinking of quitting your job to start a business, but you're unsure of what that would look like, you can book a call with me below and we'll figure out your next step together. You'll find the link in the description. The third one-person business is an AI agency. This is about helping other businesses use AI, building automations, setting up tools, connecting systems, and making them run faster and cheaper. Usually, you charge for setting it up and then a monthly fee to maintain it. It is one of the hottest businesses you can have right now, and there is a lot of hype out there. Every business knows they should be using AI, but most lack the capacity to figure out how, so they pay someone else to do it. The income varies a lot, but a realistic established operator can earn between 5 to 20k USD a month. But the range is wide and the industry is hard to predict. But as a business owner myself, I see the need for it. When I built my first business on the side of my full-time job, the hardest part was the repetitive work and having to use a tired brain on evenings and weekends for everything. And being able to leverage AI at that point would have helped a lot. What most people don't talk about though is that an AI agency only works if you already have domain expertise, meaning you understand the business that you would be implementing AI into and know what's worth automating in it. Competition is high, and there is a lot of overselling going on with AI agency courses that will teach you how to build one of these, but if you lack domain expertise, you will struggle to differentiate in this market. The ones who do well with this can leverage AI to fix problems only they know exist. So if you spent years in finance or law or marketing, that knowledge is what's going to make you good at AI for those businesses. But AI itself is just a tool. So if you got an industry you already understand well and want to use AI to solve problems you're already familiar with, it can be a great business, and I would give it a 4 out of 5 for the leverage it can bring. The fourth one-person business is going fractional. That means you taking a senior role and selling it to more than one business at a time. So instead of being one company's full-time CFO or marketing lead, you are the part-time version of that for 2 or 3 companies. For the right person, this is one of the lowest risk ways to work for yourself because you don't need to build anything and you are just using your experience. Your rates are high, and since you're not tied to one salary or taxed as an employee, you have more control over your income. For someone who is established, this can bring around 15 to 30k USD a month. The catch is that it's a high barrier to entry and it's gated by seniority and network. And since it's tied to your hours, it's far from passive and doesn't scale. You're deep into these businesses, fitting your days around what they need for several companies at once. You can't standardize anything. What you're selling is senior human judgment, which on one hand makes the business AI-proof, but it also ties you to every part of it. But if you are curious if this suits you, it is one of the easiest transitions out of corporate. So if you have experience, value stability, predictability, and a quick path to revenue, this is a good way to go, but I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. Because to me, it seems a lot like rebuilding a corporate role, and as someone who values freedom, it is just not worth the trade-offs. And if you want to go deeper on the pros and cons of these businesses or other business models, you can book a call with me below and we will figure out your next step together. You'll find the link in the description. The fifth one-person business is consulting. The easiest way to explain that is to put it right next to the others. A service is doing the work for someone else. With a fractional role, you run a function for them. With consulting, you figure out what's wrong and tell them how to fix it. Sometimes you do the fixing too though. It is a flexible role that you can tailor to your skills and preferences. There are 2 adjacent models too though. The first is coaching. That is when you develop someone else's capacity to solve a problem instead of solving it for them. The other one is advisory, and that means you are available for your judgment over time. These models tend to blend into each other a lot, and the day-to-day tasks vary. But it is one of the lowest overhead businesses you can start because there is nothing to build unless you want to leverage something like content in your marketing. The income range is wide because it's tied to your experience. Starting out can be challenging, but with experience and results, the typical range is at 5 to 20k USD a month. The catch though is that you're selling your time again, and the easiest way to get more out of your hours is to find ways to help many people or businesses at the same time instead of just one. If your expertise packages well into content, a product, or something else, you can create leverage that way too. And there is a lot of potential here. And for that, I will give it a 5 out of 5 because it is the most flexible in relation to income, and depending on how you do it, it can create a lot of freedom and allow you to work on your terms without sacrificing stability on the way. And with that, it's time to reveal the scores. As you can see, the consultant is my winner, followed by AI agency and productized service. And it is because of leverage and flexibility. From my own years as a tax consultant and running my own content business, I see a lot of upsides with both. And I try to integrate a lot of these aspects into my own business too. And in many cases, your business will be a combination of revenue models, not just one. For instance, you can combine service, productized service, and AI agency work under the same entity. The fun thing about business is that you get to decide. Regardless of what you pick though, enjoying the work is the most important part. And before you jump into anything, you need to get clear on your why behind starting a business, and to make it last, it needs to be bigger than escaping corporate or making more money. You need to pick what you can see yourself sticking with. And if you want to start mapping out your path, you can watch this video next. That will help you predict what it takes to go from employee to entrepreneur so you can prepare better. See you there.